Welcome to the Two Pints Radio Show with your host, that Nick guy. I'm at Town Tavern in Newcastle, Indiana, sipping on some beer with a good friend here. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, my man. I really, really am.
Can you state your name and what you're drinking?
Yes, I can. I'm Derek Radford, and I am currently having a Heineken and a Jameson and Coke.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm just having a Goose 312, and it's pretty
there.
fucking tasty.
Those are pretty good.
Silent. Oh, how's your
Trying
night?
to get sponsored there, huh?
No, not really.
Hey,
However,
it would be nice though, right?
If they really wanted to, that would
Shout
be
out.
cool.
Advertising dollars. Ching ching.
Not about that.
No, but still.
What?
Be nice for a few cases.
Yeah, it'd be
A
nice.
few cases.
Oh, and of course...
Hey, it's Dave Tripper, the Big Flipper checking in. Yeah! I'm at Town Tavern. I'm just saying what's up, y'all. I'm gonna go back and have lunch marks. Make me an adios, motherfucker. You know it.
Thank you. So how's your night going, man?
It's actually doing good. It really is. It's one of those things. Just got off house arrest, and it's always good to be out in the free world.
Well,
Always.
If you don't mind me asking, why were you on house arrest?
DUIs. And see, here's
Wait,
the thing.
multiple?
Yeah, I had two.
Shit.
2 within 5 years. But
Oh.
see, here's the one thing. The first one, basically 17, waited to hit me till I was 18. And then it was basically that one wasn't sketchy. I'll admit to that one for sure. But second one, very, very sketchy. It was a thing to where my keys weren't in the ignition. I was just going out to get a bag, basically, and then I turned around, and there they were.
Oh.
And it was one of those things to where I tried to flex my rights, and that did not go so well because you know where we are.
Or greatest place ever, right?
Yeah, definitely. But that's kind of what happened with that one. Because if it were me, like personally, as far as like how I know cops in other places in Indiana, they definitely wouldn't have charged me with a DUI. You know what I mean? If I would have been anywhere else but Henry County, they definitely wouldn't have done it because my keys weren't in the ignition. I was not driving. They couldn't really prove that I was driving. There was a lot of sketchy shit going on. And plus, it was 4th of July. Everybody was turning up. Like, it was just one of those things that happened. So I'm okay with it. It's past me. We'll get there.
Do you think it'll ever get off your record?
Yes, I can get the felony expunged for sure. Yeah,
okay.
with any if I'm good for a year, we'll be all right.
Okay.
We will.
I recently just got a ticket deferred. I didn't have insurance, and it was the middle of February when the ice storm was happening, you know.
Yeah.
And I was driving from here, wasn't drunk, anything like that.
Yeah.
But I only have one brake, you know.
Yeah.
Had one brake on my car, and it's right up there near Race Street and whatnot.
Yeah, I know where you're
going up
talking.
to Indiana and
Yeah,
18th.
yeah.
And I'm more than half a block away from it, and I'm just going 2 miles an hour.
Sliding.
And yeah, a little bit. I hit the brakes, and I just slide all the way, and then hit the stop sign and obliterate it.
Oh my god.
Like took it up from the ground
well,
and
at
everything.
least they didn't get you with damaging a public property.
I didn't even have to pay that. They were
Yeah.
just like, you don't have insurance at all. We're gonna give you a ticket.
Yeah. Well, no.
I'm like, well, if I can present proof of insurance, can I just get, just
You
pay
know,
the ticket and
do
be
my
fine?
thing, yeah.
And the whole thing's deferred, $200.
that's good. No,
Yeah.
that's
No record,
actually-
no
yeah.
SR22 or anything like that.
You actually got off kind of good.
Plus,
on
they
that
put
one.
this same stop sign back up. Like, they had it on tires for a second, and then they put the original one back up. I can tell because there's a dent from the fucking thing in my car and on the sign itself. Like, if you were to take the sign and put it on my car, it would be an exact match. Like, it's bent like a crescent moon. It's fucked up.
No,
Oh my God.
I feel that honestly. I don't know. It's one of those things to where like I'm not gonna hate on our local government, but I'm gonna hate on our local government a bit. It's just one of those things to where I just genuinely feel like Henry County, as far as me being in the legal system from 13 to 18 to now, it's just, and I'm 22, about to be 23, but this was my first charge after that. It's just one of those things to where they just want those dollars. They really, really do. They want to keep you in the system as long as they can, just
Well-
because they need the money. They really do. As far as my dad, me and my dad growing up, it's one of those things. He's been a Newcastle journalist for over 40 years, and he kind of just knows how this county works, especially. So it was very, very interesting to see how I subpoenaed all the cops in my case, and they all lied. We caught 3 or 4 of them lying. and they still would not drop or do anything. And then my lawyer, who's like a decent lawyer, like I shelled out the money for a good lawyer on this one because I was gonna fight it all the way, and then not gonna happen just because of the good old boy code. Like realistically, that's what it came down to.
Well, that's fucking stupid.
I mean, yeah, but you knew that before.
There have been
but
so many times when I've been pulled over.
It
like,
happens.
I haven't had a ticket or anything. I've gotten lucky a few times, but most of the time it was for jack shit, and I just get pulled over for the sake of it.
Yeah, well, that, and once you have a record, they can just run your plates and see everything, even if it's juvenile or anything like that. They can see everything. That's the one people who can see whatever they want about your record, and whether it be after 18 or before 18. They can kind of just tell, you know what I mean? And if they want to fuck with you, they will. Like, that's just my experience with it for sure. And a lot of other people around here, too, I would say.
I don't think I have anything on my record besides that one little ticket, and that's being, erased pretty much.
Yeah.
I've never been to
Expunged,
jail, never
yeah.
been arrested or anything like that. I don't know what it's like. Is it...
It was rough for me, realistically, just because, like, I had to grow up really fast. But it was also one of those things to where it brought not great joy, but great inspiration as far as, like, some of my art and a little bit else, just because, like, I grew up as a skateboarder. I grew up skating, like, basically since I was probably, like, 9, 10, and then I worked my way up the ranks, and I eventually got sponsored and a few other things, and...
You actually got sponsored?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and that ended up bad as well. Like, realistically, like, I had a few Indiana companies I was writing for that just basically used and abused, I will say, as far as, like, artwork and money and time and everything else.
Signed your soul away, did you?
Yep, a little bit.
Do you still skateboard right now?
Yeah, oh yeah, for fun, only for fun.
I'm actually, I had the rights to use some music from my good friends from Killtones.
Dude, I had that right as well from Sticky Fingers, as far as all my homie videos.
Currently, they're no longer a band or whatever, but their first 2 albums that they made are really fucking good, and I was fortunate enough to see their last show,
to give them like personal written rights to where you can do whatever you want with their music.
I just had to share the name,
Well, yeah, that's kind of how it was with us too. But we were happy enough to do kind of like basically the same agreement. Like
there's one track that they have. There's one track that they have where it just sounds like a fucking awesome skateboarding montage track, and it's like this really good, like, not hard rock, it's just like. It's awesome.
Yeah, just in your
and
face.
So yeah, I'm gonna be filming that like 4K and all that stuff pretty soon
dope.
Up at the park here,
Ooh, there
so
you go.
if you're out and about,
hit me up. I would say I can always provide you a board and a stuntman, stuntman on the wood. Always.
if you don't mind wiping out a few times.
Oh
that's
yeah,
fine
I can
too.
do that. Always. I'm good at that. That's another thing. I sustained a decent amount of injuries while I was going through the whole skateboarding thing, like blown out knees.
You ever break any bones?
Yeah, oh yeah. Broke all the side of my foot. Broke, basically, like, didn't tear my ACL, but got really, really close, tore all the tendons around my ACL. And then they thought it was a torn ACL for a long time, but then it wasn't. But it also just was one of those things I couldn't really fix. It was all rehab. So, yeah. That did not end up well.
I've actually tried skateboarding recently. Turns out I'm not really much of a trickster. I like riding on a longboard.
No,
cruising.
there's nothing, dude. That's the older I get, the more I realize that's the pure joy of skateboarding, if that makes sense. As far as just feeling those 4 wheels quick clack under some fucking sidewalk is one of the best things that you can ever feel.
72, 74 degrees out, fucking wind blowing.
Yep. It's
Hell yeah.
one of the best things. It really is. Anybody that's listening out there, please get your kids a skateboard. You will not regret it.
I may get my daughter a skateboard. Who knows?
Oh, Nick, you're so sweet.
I got her a guitar the other day, and she, like, freaked out. She's like, guitar!
No, that's the best. That, and you play too, though.
I play a bit of everything, too.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, but you'll be able to teach her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one of the best things about growing. Like, personally speaking, I never grew up in like a musical family, but I was always very, very interested in music. So it was one of those things I wish I would have had the opportunity to learn at an early age.
Well, my grandparents on my dad's side, my grandpa was in a choir, and he's like a really baritone type voice. And on my mom's side, my grandma and my mother would sing all the time.
That's super sick.
So singing is a part of it, but my uncle plays guitar and whatnot. I didn't learn from him how to play guitar. I just
been
acquired
around
it.
it, yeah.
But bass playing, That came out of nowhere.
See, that's kind of that's the only thing I know how to play.
Like, it's one of those cliche bass player stories where they're like, hey,
I can't
we
play
have a band. We need a bass player. Do you know how to play bass? I'm like, yeah, I know how to play bass. Didn't know it at all. I'd never played a fucking bass. Went out with the little money I had, got a bass, played in a band. And then eventually, the drummer and I went into another band called Cross That Line, and we played 7 shows in Muncie.
Oh, there you go.
All around. Had a little mosh pit going at a bar and whatnot. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then the last one I had was a band called Non-Servant, where we were going to open up for Saliva.
Oh, okay.
On the radio, but we were just a little too heavy, so they're like, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so they
canceled
you because of that?
Yeah,
that's shitty.
A little too heavy, like not too heavy, but like
too heavy for them.
Not for the radio type, you know. But that would have been fucking cool.
Yeah, that would have been great.
To meet the people.
And well, back to the little skateboarding thing, like literally it influenced so much of my art. Like seeing all the young, like when I was super young and like getting into stuff, like I would go and like buy new boards. This was back when Newcastle had an actual skate shop. Imagine Music.
I think I remember.
Yeah, Imagine Music.
There was one up here, wasn't there? On Broad
yeah,
Street?
But that was more of a bike shop, paintball shop.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean? But Imagine Music, while we had it, it was really, really good to have Mike Haddon in the mix. And it was just one of those things where he really, really supported. He bought a bunch of rails. He bought a bunch of, like, basically stuff that we could just transport. Like, we'd take it down to the arts park and just set up and go all day. Like, when it was rainy and stuff.
You know what would be a not bad idea? To have a skate shop here
Yeah,
in
we
town.
don't have... Well, we got Pointer Brothers, which I actually really appreciate what they're doing right now. But it's one of those things to where they've always been more, like I said, bike and paintball oriented.
I know of 2 vape shops here, but a vape and skate,
That would be
cool.
kind of cool. Yeah, well, with Newcastle culture, that would fit right in.
Get some music
really
in there,
would.
get some vinyls for the hipsters, you know,
Yeah.
get some vapes and all your smoking needs,
For sure.
you know.
But that's kind of
And
like...
then have skateboard stuff where you can like order like decks and what is that the right word? Deck?
Yeah,
You know?
it is. Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
like customize a board and have it ordered in, you know. It'd be kind of cool.
There is some really, really good places online that you can basically customize anything as far as decks. Like, it's basically like how... Do you remember when Vans had create your own shoe?
Actually, no.
That was fun. I was gonna say, you could literally go in there and design your own shoe. Like, anybody could. And they would do it and ship it. Like, they had parameters, of course, but it was one of those things to where you could really go in and make your own shoe. But CCS, I know, has a really, and it's not through CCS, it's just they offer they offer that. And it was one of those things to where, like, that's still out there and still really cool, because I know some people when Chance Smith passed away. Like, they basically made a bunch of decks, like, like the max order that you could of that one, and then basically just they made 3 different decks, I'm pretty sure. Like, one of him, little kid, one of him middle-aged, and then one of him, like, right when he died. And they did that and sold, like, auctioned them off for charity. I do know that.
Awesome.
But, and, well, back to the whole art thing, like, that's kind of how it got, like, not got me into art, but realistically, it showed me a lot of art avenues that I would have never seen as a little kid. For sure, like board graphics, t-shirts, and everything else that has to do with the skateboard culture. It just got me thinking creatively at a very, very young age. And that's one of those things that I've always appreciated about skateboarding, because I'll always ride for me, you know, until my body is broken, but also at the same time, which it may be now, but I'll always keep doing it.
What was that character's name on Tony Hawk Underground 2? Pauly? He was like in a wheelchair and he had
It
like...
was before Pauly D on the fucking shore, but I'm pretty sure his name was actually Pauly D. I'm not positive on that, don't quote me, but I think it was
Pauly Ryan. Pauly, Wheels of Fury Ryan!
There we go.
What you got, bitch?
No,
You know?
literally, you're talking about Underground 2 with dude in a wheelchair. No, yes.
Yeah.
And, well, what fucks me up about that is, like, literally there's people out there that, well, I was watching Tampa Pro this year, and literally, I forget the dude with no legs that has basically been killing it. Like, he can literally do whatever trick I can do on anything, but with no legs. Like,
Holy
straight
fuck.
finger flipping everything. Yeah, you guys should look that up. It's gnarly. It's
Another
super
guy
gnarly.
you should look up, and I'm really just now getting into skateboarding culture and whatnot, Tyler Mullen.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
guy. Holy fuck.
Great. Well, that, and if you're, like, now that we're on, like, inspirational skateboard culture, Dan Manchui. He's basically a dude that is blind, all the way blind. He has 96% of his sight lost, but he uses a blind stick and basically, like, sights out his surroundings with the 4% that he has left, And then basically he's killing it right now. Real Skateboards just did a really, really cool like braille deck for him.
What?
Yeah. And that's just one of those other cool, like skateboarding is just such a cool culture as far as like you can get anybody included. It's one of those things, once you become a skateboarder, it's just like family. Like you see another dude and you're just like, you skateboard, right on.
Fuck yeah.
Yep, exactly.
One dream of mine is to play music to like a skateboard like thing, you know, like have a little like riser in the middle or whatever, like a park or whatever, and people can just skateboard away, play like punk music and shit.
Well, rest in peace, Ollie Skate Park. They used to do that a lot.
What?
Yeah, back in Covington, Ohio. Yeah, and they're still open for the next like 2 or 3 months, but also at the same time, like I spent a lot of my childhood there, like just honing everything.
Do you know if the park here has any like plugins anywhere?
Yes, I think they do by that little bathroom stall thingy. You know what I mean?
I call for an extension cord and just
good.
a quick
Yeah, you
setup
could-
to play real quick, just
Not,
like
well,
a
that
set.
and if you can get your, I'm gonna say if you can do battery powered, you'd be all right. You would. You could.
I mean, a full band.
Oh, full band. No, they've got the deck. You could do that. Yeah, but you would. The thing with that is you would have to get permission from the city.
Nope. Just set it up and do it.
Well, Crunchy tried that. I'm gonna say Chris Carroll, one of the dudes I grew up with, kind of like just growing up in bands and stuff around here. Like me following the music scene, the skate scene. Like and this was back when I was like 12, 13, up until like 15-ish. But like they would try and do that, and they'd get shut down all the time. It would be more effort than the work, but also they will work with you. I'm gonna say it's one of those things to where if you do try the proper channels, most of the time they'll work with you if you're a decent guy. They really will. You just
That'd
go
be kind of cool.
And like I said, my dad can probably I can probably get you in touch, realistically.
I don't have a band together yet, but
Hey, we can get another band.
dude, that'd be awesome. Do you remember when Ponderosa or Roadhouse was Razzles?
Yes, well,
I played a show there for my first show.
I love the Roadhouse. I love Rich Marshall. He was the one that gave me the opportunity to do my first art show.
What?
Yeah, and I still have like basically kind of an open contract with them as far as I love doing art shows there because he just lets me have full reign kind of as far as like me and my friends just go at it as far as we'll open up the bar tonight and we'll just sell art, you know. That's one of those good things that I've always respected about that, and he's only owned it for probably about 5 years, but he's doing good things for the community right now. He really is. He may seem like a dick, don't get me wrong, and if Rich is listening, you are a dick, but but I love him. I do. I love the dude. It's just one of those things. He really, really tried to give the youth some power back as far as, and my thing is me and a few other people, me, my girlfriend, and Sarah Burns organized the first 2, and then basically we would try and bring a few people in, and then what I've been trying to do ever since then is bring in some high school kids as far as to show them that, hey, you can sell some art. Like, your talents aren't just going to waste. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that I've really, really loved doing as far as, like, throwing those little art shows. Because they may not seem much to the whole of the community, but to me personally, they mean a lot. So it's just one of those things I love to continue doing. And I hope to throw another one this year, honestly.
Like one of your passions, really?
Well, yeah, definitely one of my passions. I'm going to say I don't make a living off selling art at all. Definitely not. But also at the same time, I've sold enough to where I would consider myself definitely a professional artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you reach that, like, I don't know, $7,000 to $1,000 mark, you're legit-ish. You know what I mean? Like, people have bought my work. So it's just one of those things to where I just love doing that, and it keeps my anxieties in check for sure as far as making art.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that I can always go do when I'm upset or like I feel like I'm not good enough for the world or anything else, and I can just go with it. That's just one of the best things about creating art. So anybody out there that's trying to thinks that, oh, I can't do it because there's not enough people that are willing to buy it, you're probably wrong. Like, I hate to say that, but you're probably wrong because it's one of those things that I love to do, and it's brought me so much joy, personally, as far as me being able to prove myself wrong.
Well, that's good to hear. Holy shit.
Yeah.
One of my passions definitely is filmmaking. I've been doing it since I was 5.
Yes.
Like, with my grandma's film, like, camera, you know, and I'd have 2 VHS players to edit.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I would do. And then, like, in 2012, I had, like, a little camera and an ostrich, and I filmed an entire series of creepy ostrich films.
That's the best.
Enough episodes to make a movie.
Is that still out there?
Yeah, I have all of it right here.
That's the best. I'm gonna say you need to drop that on your YouTube channel.
I mean, I did. It's
Good.
pretty much just for the people who used to watch it, you know.
Well, yeah, but also now I want to watch it.
Oh, well, I guess I have to put it back up there now. It's just a bunch of random little fucking shit that we just do right then and there. You know, we don't really script out anything. We just do it.
That's, I don't know, that's how I feel like that's kind of how you'll get some of the best shit is non-scripted.
Hell yeah. That's how we
know?
got my friend Ricky in a chicken suit saying, "Will you stuff me?"
Exactly.
Yeah, it was
Like,
hilarious.
you can
Want to
create-
stuff me? Okay, no.
You can create some pure joy out of that. You really, really can.
Oh, it was so fun. Like, it was a good year and a half of, like, just
Constant mayhem.
yeah. Lots of noodle packs were broken. Lots of tags were ripped off of shirts. A snowball fight ensued that destroyed the world. You know, that kind of thing. I am going to take a quick, slight break. I'm not going to pause recording. I'll just cut, you know. I'm going to get more beer. Would you like another Heineken?
Yeah,
or would
sure,
you like
bud.
something different?
No, I'm good. I'll take another Heineken.
I'll bring you something random.
Yeah, go ahead. You know what I like. I like whiskey.
Probably just going to be, you know, like beer. Corey! 2 random beers. That are
2 random beers.
and are not Heineken.
If anybody wants to know, Nick just went up to the bar and ordered 2 random beers. That was literally his quote. Just 2 random beers. I love that.
Thank you. I probably won't put a break. Fuck it. You could probably hear me all the way back there.
What you got?
Here we go.
Hey, you about done?
Yeah, I'm done with the tab.
Oh, you are done?
Yeah. So, I got myself a Blue Moon, just a regular Belgian white, and it looks like
Black and tan.
Black and Tan by
They're good, though.
Yingling.
Yeah.
Little stouty there.
Oh, good little informational tidbit. Yingling just won international. It was basically not international, but American Craft Beer of the Year.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy
That
shit.
was this year. Yeah.
Craft beer of the year.
Well, I work at a liquor store. I should know this.
I had some zombie dust the other day.
Yeah, dude, we're the one people in Newcastle that carry zombie dust like regularly.
Save-On?
Yeah. No.
Save-On carries zombie dust.
Highway. We were first. I'm gonna say we.
Oh,
we got
shots fired.
we were first. I promise. But we have a decent relationship with Three Floyds, and also we have the biggest craft beer distribution that you have in Henry County.
Holy fuck.
Yep. Got a shout at the work,
Oh, man.
but it is a thing. But. Well, Nick, I would like to get honestly back to you. What I want to know, yeah, I feel like you haven't told it. What made you want to start this podcast?
You know what? It kind of started as just 2 pints games.
Conversation with
where I would have a podcast and play games with my friend Dan, which, sir, if you're listening at all, I'll get back to you in a second. I haven't seen that guy in like 5 fucking months, man.
Ooh.
Really.
Yeah,
He
now I feel that.
was like my best friend in Anderson, and I just haven't been able to talk to him in a minute.
Mutual ties. I used to live in Anderson for a good 2 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I lived there from 2015 to about 5 months ago.
20. Well, what would that be? What did we live in Anderson for? Like 2 years. So like 2016, 2018 for me.
So, it was kind of outside of town,
Probably
you
for
know.
that. Well, 29th and Jefferson.
But yeah, it started out as a just kind of like a podcast with like some games and whatnot, because I loved playing games.
Dude,
and now it's
D&D.
it's like completely different now. Like,
Oh yeah.
video games used to be so much of my life that
Yeah.
it was just a huge distraction, and I over the last few months I've just quit entirely. Like
Okay.
today I deleted literally 3 terabytes of games from my hard drive.
That makes me
Literally
sad.
3 terabytes
That
because
makes me so
it was
sad,
just so
though.
much time
Wasted.
collecting it too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
it
true.
was just a giant waste of time, and
Well, see, that's why I've been able to get like I got really back into like retro gaming. As far as like you can just.
Oh, I
pick
had
it
all
up.
of them.
You know what I mean?
all
you can
of
just,
them.
you
I had
can pick it
fucking
up and
Drax
set it
Night
down.
Out shit.
Well,
But
like, dude, Conquer. Conquer was one of my favorite games, like growing up. As far as like the Conquer, the Conquer that's like really underappreciated is the one on 64.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I haven't played like a game in a long time, and I really don't plan on it.
Well, no,
it used to
I
be
feel you.
so much of my
feel you.
childhood, and
It's one
You
of those
know.
things. Once you get sucked in, you get sucked in. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's just a huge waste of time when I could be out doing this. You
Yeah,
know?
doing a real thing. I
Because
understand.
I love editing video and whatnot. I love filming stuff. And talking and expressing have been a really big part of my life lately. And I want to express myself, and I want to know what other people go through, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you want to get inside other people's heads as far as like, hey, I've been there, but also what are you going through?
Yeah, pretty much.
I get
and
that.
drinking beer, you know, helps people relax, you know, helps people unwind a little bit. And you know what? It's like
Cheers
relaxing.
to it.
Sooner or later, you don't even know we're recording. Like,
Yeah,
we're just fucking
That's
talking,
very
you know?
true. That is very, very true. And well, shout out to all the editors out there, but one of my favorite ones is Jesse Allen, who we were lucky
Pardon me?
enough. Oh, you're good. We were lucky enough to make probably 3 or 4 homie videos, like full-length skate videos, as far as like 35 to 45 minutes long.
Holy shit.
Each one with individual people and parts and intros and outros and everything else, and that was fucking dope. If you want to look any of those up, Essejnella, ESSEJNELLA on YouTube. No spaces, no caps. But also that was one of those things that got my eyes open to editing, and it was great. It was literally one of the best experiences that I've ever had in my life as far as filming those videos with those dudes, just because it opened my eyes up to filming, because we would film each other. We didn't have a professional filmer or anything like that. You know what I mean? We would just go around skating
And just
spots
do
and
it.
yeah, exactly. Like we would skate like that without a filmer, anyways. You know what I mean? But at this point, we had we just got a camera. That's all that happened, really. That's all that changed. And it was really, really nice to get behind the lens, if that makes sense, and just
That does make sense.
Like-
I always film everything. I always edit
Yup.
everything. It's always like from my point of view that I want
And
to.
I've done a lot of filming and
Yeah.
editing myself, and it's just one of those things that really, really opened my eyes up to the possibilities of everything that can be done with the culture and everything else. As far as like and it doesn't matter what culture, realistically. If you're a subculture, you can do stuff with that. Like really, when it comes to beer, skateboarding, like even weed, and then anything else involved, like urbexing and literally anything that's a subculture, you can, I'm not going to necessarily say monetize, but also you can just get in behind the lens and learn so much. You can learn so much off of that, as far as
think-
like you're going to learn skills that will last with you for the rest of your life.
I think filmmaking is more about the expression and the
It is.
the lack of expression I've had for the most of my life because of everything.
That's
you know?
a good one. I've never
And in the
heard
last 5-6 months, I've been able to express myself more than ever. You know?
Yeah.
Like, if you would have asked this person like a year ago, you wouldn't get
you'd be
anything out.
doing? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just be this fucking kind of an asshole, actually.
Yeah, no, I get that. I really do. Like I've been through some dark times in my life as well.
I think it was the darkest time.
Yeah.
You know, and it took a lot for me to change in a way.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
no, for sure. For sure. Like, well, I don't know what it took for me to change realistically was watching a lot of the people that I loved cease to exist. And like basically what I mean cease to exist is a few people died, but also at the same time a few people just ceased to exist, as far as they wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't get out of their house, they wouldn't go to work, they wouldn't do anything. And it was just one of those things to where like I don't want to be that guy.
I think that's what honestly drove me away from a lot of people.
Around here especially, dude. This I'm not
I think I've been on this journey for like 15 years now.
yeah.
Like of never knowing like where to settle
Yeah.
and whatnot, and until very recently, you know.
Did you not necessarily know what you wanted to do or know what to do? Does that make sense? That's a very, very...
No, I've been on my own since I was 14.
Well, yeah,
my
but
parents split up, and literally, I've been on my own since then.
yeah.
Like
just
friend
kinda,
to friend,
yeah,
couch surfing.
surf, yeah.
Every now and then, my mom. One time, my dad. But no, like I was never anywhere for more than a couple of days to a few weeks to months.
Yeah.
There was one time in my life where I was at a place for like 2 years, and then recently 4, you know?
Yeah.
And
No,
now I'm forging my own, path, my own home that I made myself, you know?
And well,
like-
that's so important, honestly, because you have to find you eventually. You know what I mean? You're gonna do it. You know,
And I'm pretty sure I found it, you know?
That's so good though, because
Like-
I'm one of those very, very sure people. Like I've been the same person with a few tweaks for my entire life. like realistically, like not my entire life, but since about like, you know, prepubescent teenage years. You know, like that, I've been the same Derek Radford that everybody knows, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things to where, like, I've done some fucked up shit, and I've loved a lot of things that I shouldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I was able to basically just work on myself, you know? And that was hard for me to accept, too, was the fact that I need help. And the fact that I need to work on myself. That was one of those things that I never wanted to do, but eventually did because it was affecting everyone around me.
That's exactly, you know, how I felt a couple of months ago, where I needed to fucking do something, you know, instead of just sitting there and just becoming this brick, you know, living the same existence over and over, you know, just not saying anything, ignoring everything, and trying to, I don't know,
become
by.
The best you that you can be.
Yeah,
basically.
And I never tried that.
Yeah, well,
So.
that's the easiest and also the hardest part about it, because you know that you want to become that person, but it's so hard to try.
Yeah, and it was, and I got that push a couple of months ago.
That's
and
the best thing. And
like,
me being your friend, I'm so happy that happened to you.
It was pretty rough.
Exactly. It's
Pretty
always rough.
You know.
It's always rough for that to happen, but I'm glad that you actually did it.
I'm glad too. I'm glad it happened. You know, it needed to, because if it would have went the same way, it would have just gotten worse.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and I don't know. There's a lot of regret in there, but I try not to hold that.
Oh yeah.
Hold on to it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hate in my mind for a lot of things, and I've been letting that go.
Yeah, that makes
like
sense.
over the last few months, and
does.
it took. I think a few weeks ago, I went to Richmond, and it's like this long drawn out thing. But every 2 weeks, my grandparents would pick me up. Right.
Yeah.
I think I explained this in the interview with Dev actually. That I live with my grandparents, and 2005 is when they found me and whatnot, and took me in.
Yeah.
And
They're just like, hey, bud, what are you doing? Yeah.
it was, I guess to shorten it up, because I have said it before, but I'd like to express it to you too.
Yeah.
They were a big part of my life, and in 2005 they were a really big part of my life. Before that, they would take me to their house. They would go through this alleyway, and they would go right into their house, right?
Yeah.
And when I was there, because they're no longer here, you know.
Oh, see, I've only got one grandparent left, and I'll go into that later. I want you to finish your story. I really do.
The house I went to, dilapidated beyond anything.
Belief, yeah.
Yeah, like the roof and walls are like caved in and whatnot. And when I used to live there in 2005, there was a song I used to listen to called "Permanent" by Acceptance.
Yeah.
And I would listen to that to fall asleep, and that was the start of music connected to my memories and whatnot, how I would save them in a little folder and then listen to them to remember that part of my life.
Yeah.
You know? And that really blew out of proportion. I have like 7 gigs of music just for that, you know? But that song, I played it the last time I was there, and that is the last time I'm going to be there ever. Like, I'm never coming back.
That's always rough. I've been through some stuff like that as far as like being there for the last time, and that's always a good learning experience, but also a rough one.
I played it as I drove away, and I took a back alley, and I went out the alley that my grandparents would take me down. And right as the song ended, I went around the corner, and that was it. And that was that
but that's also
full circle feeling, you know?
That's also, yeah, I just want to say,
That's
also very, very beautiful.
14 years
Of
pent
constant,
up everything.
Yeah,
you know?
constant, yeah.
Of, and especially the last 3 years of them being gone and me having to accept that and move on. That was me moving on,
Yeah.
you know? I had seen them in the cemetery before that, like, because they're unmarked, you know? And that in itself is just
Rough.
stupid.
Yes.
But at least I know where they are,
In
you know?
today's, yeah, oh yeah, definitely, because a lot of people don't, but I get that.
The last time I actually saw them was on their 50th anniversary, and I had my 50-year-old camera that I used, and I took a lot of pictures of them. And
Dude,
like,
I bet that's a bitch to get that film developed.
it's about $25.
That's what I was gonna
but
say.
I did. If you
It's-
want to see it, I'll bring it up real quick, as I explained.
Always. You
But
know me.
burping. That was the last time I saw them. You know, 2 weeks after that, my grandpa passed away in the hospital.
Well,
Fuck. And then my grandma a year after that.
do you want me to go into my stuff?
In a moment, yeah. I'm going to bring them up for you real quick.
I do want to see this. I really, really do.
Photos. Here we go. Pretty much, it was that full circle moment, that I needed to move on
And I
from a
got
lot of
that
things.
too. I really did. It's one of those things to where I understand what I understand what you went through, kind of. You know what I mean? That's one of those things that's always very, very hard for people.
The people that actually knew me as a person,
As a kid and stuff.
Mhm.
Did they know what you were going through then?
Kind of. I haven't been that expressive ever
Yeah.
until a couple of months ago.
Yep.
I
I get that too.
Well, I hope I can pull them up here. I pull it up on my computer, but I'd have to hook up a lot of stuff. So, I'll pull it up if you want to start talking about yours.
I can do that.
Well, let's take a slight break. What's up, Dev?
What's up?
Basically,
Here. You might be on here. I'd like you to see him and get your reaction on this because my grandma is immortalized in this pure joy.
Yeah, of you speaking and also of you sharing your memories. Honestly, you know what I mean. That's something that will live on forever, and that's one of the things I love about this medium is you can just bring up memories that other people may not understand, but you can talk about, and it gets you so much closure. In a sense, at least it has for me. You know what I mean? As far as like me doing other like little interviews and stuff that have like very, very much so helped me deal with my trauma.
I don't think I'm gonna pull it up
You're
because
okay.
I'm not finding them.
You're alright.
Yeah, they're on my hard drive though.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have them.
You're okay. But we'll like.
It's just black and white filter, and my grandma's wearing her little flower and whatnot. She's just like cheese and hardcore.
You have that forever, though. You know what I mean? Like one of the things that happened to me was basically like I lost the grandparents on my dad's side by the time I was 12, and then I lost the one. Like basically, I still have one left, but the one on my mom's side was the hardest one for me. She had some problems with diabetes, but she was not in that bad a shape at all. You know what I mean? She was in her 70s, but also she would take every day out of her day. And yeah, she was paid for it, but she didn't do it for that. You know what I mean? She didn't do it for the monetary reason. To go take care of elderly Alzheimer's people. And basically, it was one of those things to where do you remember that ice storm that happened in about 2010?
I think so.
The bad one, like the real bad one around here. She was checking up on some people just to make sure they had food and they were good and everything else. You know what I mean? Because she wasn't going to go out for a few days just to, for her own safety. But on her way back from that, she had basically gotten out of her car, closed the door, slipped on some ice, and died in her driveway. And it was just one of those things that hit me so hard as far as like rocked my belief in religion and a lot of things, because she was still out there helping people. She was still out there helping everybody that she needed to help, and also one of those things that she really needed to do to make her life okay. You know what I mean? She was just one of those great, genuine people that was a helper. And my parents really, they tried to deal with it the best that they could, obviously. Like, my mom was very much involved, but also I was not very much involved. You know what I mean? And that really hurt me, honestly, throughout the years, as far as, I never got to say goodbye. I never really got to say my goodbyes or anything like that. And that really, my belief in religion had been shook before that, but it was just one of those things, that was the defining moment. You know what I mean? As far as, that was the last straw. As far as, okay, well, that's it. If she's still out here trying to help everybody and being a great-ass person doing it, why is that her time? You know what I mean? And it took me a long time to realize why that happened.
Well, maybe leaving isn't the bad part, you know?
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Maybe you could look at it as
she did as much as she could and everything else, because that's really, really what it took a long time for me to realize. As far as she helped so many people, you know, she was a lunch lady before that. And I don't know if you had the same experience in high school as I did, but like lunch ladies were one of those few people that like they would give you shit, but they would still like talk to you in a real way, like you're an adult.
Yeah. my grandma was janitor at Centerville
That's kind of
for
the
a
same,
long
though.
fucking
It
time.
really is.
She's still kicking. She's helping my grandpa out and whatnot. He's pretty close, I'd say.
Yeah.
And I've been preparing for it for a long fucking time. And I don't know if that's like the right thing to do, is to prepare for it.
I would say it is. Like I've got like the one I have left. Like I would say that preparing is one of the best things that you can do, just because for me especially, like my mom is still there. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm preparing more for her than I am for me. You know, for the death realistically, because I need to be there to help her, because it's gonna hit her harder than it's gonna hit me. But
I think the best way to go about it is just enjoy it, you know? Quit thinking of what's going to happen, because eventually, yeah, it will.
Exactly, that, and see them as much as you can.
So,
you know, like,
I don't think that ever crosses my mind when I do see people, you know? I see them how they are now, you know? Not how they were if they were a bad person, or, you know, where they're going.
Yeah.
You know, because eventually everyone, you know,
is gonna die.
And that sucks. Hey, whatever.
Hey, and on the other hand, that kind of doesn't suck in my opinion. And I'm not advocating anything as far as death or anything like that, but also, it's the same road that we're all gonna take.
Yeah, eventually we're gonna have to make that jump, but it's nothing to be scared about, you know.
No, definitely not.
Enjoy the time you had here.
Exactly.
You know?
That, and make as many friends and as many connections as you can along the way, especially genuine ones. Just because without that, what's life?
Full of hurdles, waves, whatever you want to call it. Right now, it's waves for me, and in the last week or two, I think it's been more of me finding solid ground.
Yeah, and speaking of solid ground, it's one of those things to where, with solid ground, you can always have a decent landing. You know, and that's one of the most beautiful things I've ever found out of concrete is, no matter how hard it hurts, I can always expect what I'm gonna get.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Well, sir, I'd say hell yeah. That's
What we got?
This has been a talk. We're at 40. We're like 45 minutes.
Yeah. We're
So
good.
you know what? I think I'm just gonna end it here.
Yeah.
You know,
We're good.
this was really insightful for me, actually.
Hey, thank you, Nick.
Hey,
I appreciate
not a
you
problem.
for having me on here.
This
I
has
really
been
do.
the 2 Pints radio show, and you know what? I'm feeling pretty good.
I am
So-
too. I will be all right. Trust me. And hey, I hope everybody out there listening is all right too.
Yeah. So have a beer, and relax, and you know what? We'll give you another show later. Okay. Goodbye.